The name of the place is Babylon 5. This isn't Babylon 5. This is Alpha Male 2.0, and I am Caleb Jones. Freedom-focused lifestyle design for men, dating multiple attractive women long-term with no lying, no cheating, and no drama, and having your own Alpha 2.0 location-independent business that sets you free from your 9-to-5 job and gets you location-independent. The freest lifestyle available to the modern-day man, what language am I speaking? I'm speaking Orcish today. Anyway, I'm standing now. I'm going to try this. Now that I weigh 45 pounds less, on my standing desks, I could stand for a while, but my feet would start to hurt. I mean, I could physically stand that long, but my feet would hurt because I'm a decently strong guy. But my feet would hurt because I was so heavy. So I'm going to try this now and see how long I can stand without my feet hurting. We'll see. We'll find out. If my feet start hurting now, I'll just sit down in the middle of this live stream. That's fine. We're going to talk about my weight loss today because that's one of the biggest questions I'm getting in the last few weeks. And what I decided to do is, this is such a big topic, I'm going to cover it in several different videos, several different live streams. I'm going to start with the mindset thing today, and then I will maybe next week, the week after, talk about the specific techniques I'm using. But if you are overweight, what I'm going to discuss today is likely techniques and tactics are not your problem. That's the important part. So the most important part is today, and then the actual how I'm doing this shit, I'll cover in a future live stream. You're asking me about how tall I am. I'm 5'10" and a half. I wish I could say I'm 5'11", but I'm not. So barefoot, completely barefoot, I'm 5'10" and a half. I will give you specific weight numbers when I talk about this fasting protocol I'm doing. I'll give you all the numbers. Trust me, I got lots of them. I'll give you all the stats. You're very welcome for Rapid Business Builder. You're very welcome for that. What else to say before I get started here? Guess that's it. So per my new protocol in these live streams, I now break these up into several different topics, into several different sub videos where I introduce myself all over again. So just be aware that's going to happen throughout this video. I'm going to do 2, maybe 3 topics. I have 3 topics planned, but the first topic, the weight loss one, might be long enough where I just do 2. But I'm going to introduce myself all over again. Just that's how let's do it that way. I can repurpose this for shorter form content because not everybody in my audience likes super long form content like these long live streams. Cool. All right. And then every time I'll say new video, that's for AI to make the cut. All right, new video. I recently lost 45 pounds in the last several months, and I am now the skinniest I have ever been in my adult life. And I have been struggling with this problem for literally about 35 years. And today I'm going to tell you the number one most important aspect of this if you have weight to lose. Because this is something I struggled with and didn't understand for about the last 35 years, the last 32 years or so. And this is something that is almost never discussed on the internet. And it is a big source of confusion for people on the internet and people in real life. So here's how this works. When someone goes on the internet or goes to their friends, say, I need to lose weight, the very first thing people do, they do this online, they do this in comments, they do this on forums, they do this in real life, is they start recommending tactics. Someone says, I need to lose weight. And someone will always say, as they've been saying to me for the past 15 years, I've been a public figure on the internet, oh, just do carnivore. Or, oh, do sprints. Or, oh, do paleo. It worked for me. I lost 22 pounds doing paleo. Oh, just go to the gym and do this protocol and these weights and this and this. Oh, do keto. Oh, go vegan. Oh, and they will give you tactics. And that's the problem. Now, for some people, tactics work. For some people, tactics do not work. But that's the only path that people have in terms of helping people who lose weight. And these people who incorrectly assign tactics do it with, love in their heart. They're coming from a good place. But at least 50% of the time, they're wrong because the tactics don't work for about 50% of people who are overweight, at least people in the Western world. So let me explain how this works. In the Western world, and I am not talking about Asia, China, that's different. They have a different relationship with food and eating in those cultures. That's why when you go to Hong Kong, you don't see fat people. Everyone's skinny. And it's been like that forever. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the Western world, especially America, Canada, Western Europe, and also to a degree where I am here in South America, the Latin world. You could assign some of this. In the Western world, a quasi-Western world, there are three kinds of people in terms of people being overweight. And they are very, very, very different, all three of these people. The first type of person are what I call skinny people. Now, these aren't literally skinny, stick skinny people. Skinny people, as I define them, are people who have never been more than 20 pounds overweight in their entire lives, ever. Matter of fact, 20 would be a lot for them. They're just relatively skinny. They can have some fat. They can have a dad bod. But man or woman, their silhouette looks normal. When they walk in a room, you're looking at a normal looking person. You're not looking at a fat person or overweight person. And they've been like that their entire lives. They've never had to struggle with weight their entire lives for various reasons I'll get to in a minute. They're just skinny. They're normal. They function normally in life with food and eating and stuff like that. Again, I'm not saying they're ripped. I'm not saying they have 9% body fat and have six packs. You can be a skinny person and be 15 pounds overweight. I think being between 1 and 20 pounds overweight is kind of a cultural norm in the Western world. I don't think it's any big deal. Don't think it's that big of a thing. And if you are, if you're a man of a normal height and you're 15 pounds overweight, do you look fat? No. Do you look overweight? Not really, no. Maybe we can take your shirt off, you have a little chub down here. That's about it. So that's the first type of person, are skinny people. People of less than 20 pounds overweight and have never been more than 20 pounds overweight in their entire lives. Okay? Category one. Now we have overweight people. And when I say overweight people, I'm talking about people who are more than 20 pounds overweight. Some of them are 30 pounds overweight. Some of them are 300 pounds overweight. So, there's a range, right? And so to me, what I've always classified overweight people as two subcategories: chubby people and fat people. Chubby people are people who are more than 20 pounds overweight. When you look at them, you can tell they're overweight, but they're not big fat butterballs. I am a chubby person. Even after late on that, I'm still technically chubby. I'm getting into the zone of skinny soon, one more month. But for the most of my adult life and a lot of my childhood, I was a chubby person. I've never been, thank God, I've never been fat, big fat butterball. You know that when I say, wow, that person is fat, you know what I'm talking about. Big fat butterball. There's chubby people and fat people. They're both overweight. They're both bad. Okay, now, in terms of overweight people, there are two types. So now we have one type, skinny person. Then we have two types of overweight people. These two types of overweight people look the same, but are completely different. So when you see these two types of overweight people, especially if you see two men with the same body type, same height, same age, and they're both way overweight, one could be the first type and one could be the second type, and you can't tell the difference by looking at them or watching them. You can't. They look the same. So what people do is they give the same advice. They say, oh, do carnivore. It worked for me. Oh, do paleo. Oh, do whatever. Okay. Everyone has on the internet has their pet techniques on how to lose body fat, right? I see a comment right now. Take vitamin D. Oh, take vitamin D. Yes. Okay. Here are the two types. The first type is what I have always called type L people. These are overweight people who used to be skinny people. So for their entire life, their entire childhood, their entire adolescence, their 20s, their 30s, their 40s, they were perfectly skinny. Matter of fact, many of them were really good looking, or they were at least normal looking. They were average looking bodies. They looked fine. And then at some point, it is always between age 25 and 45, which I've watched with people. At some point between age 25 and 45, what they do is they just start getting lazy and complacent about their lifestyle, and they just start eating whatever the fuck they want. SAD, the standard American diet. So they start eating cheeseburgers and pizza and Taco Bell and burritos and pasta and ice cream, and they just start eating that shit because for whatever reason, and they start gaining weight slowly, and 2 years later, 3 years later, 4 years later, suddenly they're fat. And now they're fat. And I come out of the pickup artist world, as many as you know, and we used to show pictures. I didn't, but other people in the pickup artist community would show, these red pill guys to show pictures of these smoking hot girls, like some hot girl when she was like 22, and then she's 26 and she's just huge and fat. Like, what the hell? Those are type L people. I've noticed that women tend to do this in their 20s and men tend to do this in their 30s, early 40s. So a woman will be hot or skinny or normal looking when she's, 22, 23, 24, 20, and then at some point, 25, 26, she just starts getting lazy and starts eating whenever she wants, and she doesn't work out, and she just doesn't, and then all of a sudden, by the time she's 29, she's a big fat bitch, big overweight chick. Men, what they'll do, they look great until they're like 35, then they get married, and they go monogamous, and they turn to betas, and they start gaining a little weight, and all of a sudden, by the time they're 40, they're fat, or they're clearly overweight, fat or chubby. Okay? So, that's it. That's the only reason that they have gained weight. It's a very simple process. They got lazy, they weren't paying attention, they started eating a lot of food, and then they got fat, and they got chubby, and that's it. It's that simple with them. Type Ls. And I don't know what the percentages is. I would imagine that my rough guess would be half of overweight people are type Ls, and half are the third type of person, which I've always called type S. Type S is overweight or fat, just like a type L. They look just like a type L. You can't tell the difference by looking at them. They both look fat. They both are overweight. Doesn't matter. The difference is everything else. Type S's and type L's are completely and totally different. It's not even close to the same. They are overweight for completely different reasons. Unlike the type L person, the type S person has been overweight at least off and on his or her entire life. Often going back to when they were little kids. You ever see a family with like 3 or 4 kids, same mom and dad, same everything. And it's like 4 kids. You see 4 little kids in a family. 3 of them are skinny and look normal. 1 of them's chubby. That kid is a type S. The type S is overweight or fat because the type S person is insane, at least a little bit. The type S person has something wrong mentally. They have a psychological problem with food that skinny people and type L people do not have. Skinny people and type L people, as I've defined them, eat correctly. When they sit down and eat, they eat like normal humans. Type S people, for various reasons in their childhood, I'll discuss that more in a second. It's childhood/personality. It's those two things, I think. I'm not a psychologist. This is my guess. For various reasons, do not know how to eat. They have a fucked up relationship with food. So because they don't know how to eat, they eat incorrectly their entire lives because that's how they're wired, or that's how more accurately, I would say, that's how they've wired themselves. Maybe starting when they were 4 years old, maybe starting when they were 10 years old, maybe starting when they were 15. Who knows? Okay, there's various other reasons why someone becomes a type S. And again, I'm not a psychologist. I can't delve into this because I don't know. It's not my area. But these are people who have always had a serious, fucked up mental problem, psychological problem with eating food. Therefore, they are overweight/fat. Now, is that an excuse? Can they just say, well, I'm a type S, that's why I'm fat? No, everything in your life is your fault. My weight, my entire life has been 100% my fault. There is no excuse. There are factors and there are reasons, but it's not an excuse. So if you are a type S person, you can't say, well, I don't think I can do it, but I'm type S, I'm going to be fat. I just lost 45 pounds. I've been a type S my entire life. So it's not an excuse. I'm explaining one of the factors as to why you have some people in the Western world are overweight. 2 different kinds. Here's another example of a type S person. When you have a bunch of people at a restaurant and they're all eating food, and it's a really good restaurant and the food's really good. Type L people and skinny people, when they eat a really good piece of food, really good pizza, really good Italian food, a really good piece of cheesecake, an amazing Danish or donut, and it tastes amazing. What they do, here's what a skinny person and a type L person, when they take a bite of really good food, they go, oh my gosh, really good. That's the correct way to react. Here's what a type S person does. You might be this kind of person, or you may know people like this. This is how I am. They eat a piece of food, they go, oh. They have this like orgasmic experience. It's almost sexual when they eat a really good piece of food. Oh my God. Oh, this is so good. Oh my God, this is so fucking good. And then they start, and suddenly their plate is empty because they love the experience of eating food is on a higher level of dopamine than normal functional people when it comes to eating food, which would be type L people and skinny people. Type L people and skinny people eat a really good, amazing piece of food. They go, that's really good. That's awesome. But the type S goes, Another telltale sign of a type S, and I know as well because I've been with my entire life, I still am, I probably will be the rest of my life, is the speed at which you eat. Type S people do not know how to eat. Now, I'm getting to the main problem here. If you're a type L or a skinny person, when I say type S people don't know how to eat, your brain goes, what the fuck? What do you mean don't know how to eat? That's stupid. Come on. Everybody knows how to eat. Exactly. You don't understand because you don't have a psychological problem with food. Here's an example. People will say to overweight people, just get food out of your house. Just get the bad food out of your house. Then you won't eat it. And the type S person will say, but I have DoorDash. I'll just get it on DoorDash. Or what I used to say before DoorDash was, okay, I do that, but Taco Bell's 5 minutes down the street. So if I don't have anything in my food 2-3 times a week, and I used to do this, I'll get my car and go to Taco Bell. I can tell you exactly what I used to order. I would order 2-3 times a week. I'd go down at night. I'd have nothing, all the healthy food in my house, but I would go, oh, I want Taco Bell. So I'd go to Taco Bell, drive-through. I would order a beef grilled XXL stuffed burrito, 2 double-decker taco supremes, a quesadilla, chicken quesadilla, and those little Cinnabon bites. I'd eat in my car. And I would almost orgasm. It was such an amazing, oh my God, you're so type S. Now, if you're a skinny person or a type L person, you say, well, don't do that. Why are you doing that? Well, just don't do that. Aha, you don't understand. You don't have a psychological problem with food. And sometimes on my blogs, I've talked about in the past, people say, well, just do this. Well, then I do this, then I do that. And people go, well, just don't do that. I say, well, they say, I don't have that problem. I'm like, yeah, you don't have a psychological problem with food. They go, well, what is that? What the hell does that mean? Precisely. You don't understand that there are some people who don't know how to eat. Here's another problem of type S that I was getting to a minute ago. At a restaurant, especially at a restaurant, when you're eating good food, the food comes. Within 3 or 4 minutes, the type S person, the plate's empty. This has been me my entire life. The plate's empty. And people are like 1/3 through their food. I'm done. Plate's empty. It's good. And people, my whole life, people go, my God, you eat, it's already gone? Oh my God, you eat fast. Bad. That's not how you're supposed to eat. You don't eat fast. There's a correct way to eat, which type S people don't understand. Skinny people and type L people are naturally already attuned to this. They don't eat fast because they eat correctly. I'm going to show you a really quick clip. A clip here. Tell me if you guys can hear the audio in the chat, and if you can't, I will fix this. This is one of my favorite influencers in terms of fat loss. I've mentioned before. His name is Bishoy Kella. He's on Instagram. Hang on. Let's make him bigger. Hang on a second. Let's see if I can do this. This is a quick clip where he talks about this because he's one of the few people who talks about this problem. No, I don't want that. How do I make myself smaller? Okay, here we go. All right, tell me if you guys can hear the audio. If you can't, then let me know.
The mistake I made was listening to people tell me it's okay to have a cheat meal every now and then.
Can you hear the audio, yes or no? I'll wait to look at the chat. Sound is working. Listen.
Life is all about balance, man, because most people do not understand the concept of a food addiction. And that's what obesity stems from, an addiction to shitty food. Because if people actually understood what the was going on in my mind, they wouldn't be saying shit like, yo, it's just a slice, man, live a little, it's not gonna kill you. We don't tell drug addicts, it's cool, man, just bang up whatever you want today and pick it back up on Monday. Because we understand that they're fighting inner demons every single day to stay clean. And this isn't any different. It's already difficult enough. You're already fighting your inner urges, and now you gotta fight everyone around you, your friends, your family, your coworker. And on top of all that, everywhere you look, you're hit with ads of juicy ass cheeseburgers, crispy fried chicken boxes, making it that much.
Which wouldn't affect you if you're a type L usually, or a skinny person. You see a cheeseburger commercial, if you're a skinny person or most type L's, you're like, okay, You're type S, you're like, oh my God.
Much more difficult for you to stay clean. So to most people, saying no cheat meals when you're first starting out sounds super extreme, but to some people it is actually necessary because the finish line is so far away. It's easy for you to say, I'll just pick it back up, I'm not even that far yet. You haven't built the discipline to say no. You don't see the big picture yet. At some point, man, your desire to progress will outweigh any momentary satisfaction you get from food. Until then, no cheat meal.
Okay. So what he is explaining there is something that I've been trying to explain to people for 3 or 4 years since I discovered this about 3 or 4 years ago is there's 2 types of overweight people, and one type doesn't have any psychological problems, and one type has massive psychological problems. So that means when people say, just do carnivore or whatever, that advice will work with some type Ls. It will never work with a type S. The type S doesn't know how to eat. So what'll happen to type S is he'll go on carnivore or keto or the zone. I have a blog post that's several years old now where I list every diet I've tried that didn't work. And I'm like, fuck. I wrote this blog post like I'm exhausted, like, God damn, I didn't understand back then. Tactics wasn't my problem. My fucking brain was my problem. And no one giving me advice understood this. People on the internet do not understand there's a type of overweight person that has a fucked up, insane psychological problem with food that they don't have, that they can't relate to. And so they say, just go to the gym and just keep stuff out of your apartment. Just do paleo and just track your calories. You know, you need to get MyFitnessPal and track your calories. It's all tactics. Now, here's what's interesting. This has happened to me many times. Sometimes a type L person, type L now, okay, not a type S, a type L person sometimes. Usually this doesn't happen. Usually once a type L person gets fat, they're fat the rest of their lives because they love to eat Taco Bell. Great. They don't have a psychological problem. They're just lazy and they have a habit. But sometimes they decide to lose their weight for whatever reason. Some of them just say, oh shit, I got to lose weight. And then guess what happens? Boom, they lose weight. They'll lose 50, 60, 70, 80 pounds in 6 months. Boom, like that. And everyone goes, oh my God. And they'll keep it off the rest of their lives. And it's easy. It's not easy, but it's reasonably easy. And what happens is when these type L people lose weight, what does everybody do, including me, when I used to know type L people? I knew a guy years ago, good guy, years ago now in the United States, and he was a skinny, fat, married guy. So he had this big fat, he wasn't like a fat butterball, but he had a big fat belly. So one of those people that like their body looks kind of normal, but they have this big, he looks pregnant, big fat belly on him. Middle-aged guy. And I saw him 6 months later. He's rail skinny and fit as fuck. I'm like, what the fuck? And I had been struggling for decades and decades to lose 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30, 40 pounds. And he loses 75 pounds in 6 months. Just whoop. And this is the experience people have. This experience I've had. What do people say to these type L people when they lose the weight? What did you do? Not what was the psychological problems you overcame. What did you do? And so when I didn't understand this myself, I said, okay, holy shit, dude, what did you do? And then these type L people give the most maddening fucking answers to the type S person you can possibly think of. They say stuff like, and I've run into this a lot, I just stopped eating cheeseburgers for lunch. Or I just stopped drinking beer. So his answer was, I just stopped eating cheeseburgers and beer for lunch and started having salad. I'm like, that's it? What the fuck? No. There must have been way more than that. Come on, man. It's like, no, that's it. I just stopped. And the reason he lost weight is his wife, I relate to this, got a 6-pack. Well, he had this big belly. So he felt weird standing next to her. I don't feel weird standing next to my wife, but so that's why he lost weight. He was a type L, so it was no problem. You probably run into many people, because I have too, who've lost a lot of weight. And they just say, well, I just stopped eating burgers. I just stopped drinking beer. I just stopped having this for lunch. I just stopped, instead of this, I started having that. And it's that simple for them because they had no psychological problem with food. And if you look at them carefully, they were skinny their entire lives up until several years ago when they started getting lazy. Versus the type S person who has been overweight off and on his or her entire life. Now, here's more interesting stuff about this. You can have type L's, type S's, and skinny people in the same family. So I am the oldest of 5 children. I have there's a 6th one who is a half brother I didn't grow up with, okay, from my dad's first marriage in the 60s before I was born. So I'm the oldest of 5 kids, same mom and dad, raised in the same house. So that means we have the same nurture and same nature. So there's nature and nurture. That's controlled because we have the same genetics and the same, raised by the same parents, okay, at the same era. Okay. So here's the breakdown of my 5 siblings, including myself. First, there's me, type S, hardcore type S. I've been chubby off and on starting when I was a little kid. I wasn't a fat little kid, but I was a little soft little kid. Put it that way. Off and on. I've been 53 years old, so the last 45 years, I've been chubby off and on. Type S, hardcore. That's me. Then below, next kid was my sister, and she is the one I've talked about who is over 400 pounds. She can't stand. I'm standing right now. She can't stand. She has to always sit. She can barely walk upstairs. She finally got, I believe, one of the stomach bariatric surgeries a year or two ago. And she lost like 180 pounds, and she's still giant and fat. Oh, she almost looks the same. That's how big she was. And she had to get loose skin removed because she was so big. My mom told me the doctors removed something like 32 pounds of loose skin. Just skin, not fat, skin. That's how fat she was and still is. Okay. So that's my sister, type S. So now you're probably thinking, well, shit, all the kids are fat fucks then. No. Third child is my other sister. She's a type L. So when she was younger, started getting fat. She was skinny and fine, started getting fat. Chubby little ball, chubby little roller ball. And she decided a little later in life, in high school, early 20s, she's like, well, I don't want to be fat. Fuck this. And she just went, whoop, lost all the weight. And she's been skinny since then. So I've talked about this. I have a fat sister and I have a pretty skinny sister. So I have but she's a type L. She lost the weight. She did get chubby and then she just lost it because she wasn't a type S. Then I have 2 little brothers, both skinny guys. They are tall, skinny beanpoles. They have never been overweight, more than 20 pounds in their entire lives. They are skinny and they always have been since day one. My 100% brothers I was raised with. So you can have type S people, type L people, and skinny people in the same family. So it is not just genetics and it's not just how you're raised. I think those are factors. This is where I get outside of my area of expertise. What a lot of type S people will do is they will correctly or usually incorrectly say, well, I'm overweight because I have bad genetics. I'm overweight because I have shitty metabolism. I'm overweight because I'm an endomorph instead of an ectomorph. No, that's not why you're overweight. Are those factors? Yes, I'm heavily endomorphic. So that is a factor, but that's not why I'm overweight. There are skinny people who have shitty metabolism and are endomorphs, and they're not fat. So how do you explain that? It is a factor. No, the real reason is you're a type S because of, I think, now could be wrong on this. I'm not a psychologist, but based on my experience and my process going through this, it's a combination of how you're raised and your own personality. So I was raised the same way as my 2 skinny brothers, and they came out skinny. So it's not just about how you're raised. It's not about trauma. I've never had any trauma in my life. Now, some type S's have had trauma. Some were raped when they were little kids or sexually molested, and now they're type S. True. Thank God that never happened to me. Thank God. But so what happened to me was, I think, I'm not a psychologist, so this is my best guess, is that when I was a little kid, I was the oldest of 5 little kids. So I was a big family of 7 people. And my personality was, I was born with, that I love food. I bite food. I used to eat when I was 4 or 5 years old. My mom, who was a former nun, we were not allowed to eat sugar. Now, that might have been a problem. We were not allowed to eat sugar because sugar was the devil. But she would make pancakes with piles of butter and dumps of syrup all over for breakfast every morning before I went to school. Didn't occur to her that might be sugar. Anyway, so I would eat these pancakes when I was 4 or 5. And I would eat stacks and stacks of pancakes. And what I think happened is that plus when my parents would serve us kids meals, there'd be X amount of lasagna, and I would get some, and my sister would get some, and my brothers would get some. And I would start to get nervous that there wasn't enough food. I had a scarcity mentality about food. See, I'm fucked up. It's type S. And then on top of that, I would see my little brothers, they were skinny. They didn't want to eat. So they would like play with their food and make little castles and take their chocolate milk and dump it on their food. They were like Beavis and Butthead. And then my mom would go, oh my God. And then she'd throw the food away. And I go, oh my God, you're wasting the food. I could have eaten that. That plus my love of eating food, I think, is the catalyst to me being a type S. I think. I could be wrong. That's my layman's psychological view. So, how do you solve this problem? First, if you are overweight, you need to identify, are you a type L or a type S? It's about 50-50. Type L, you could just be a lazy bastard. You could have been skinny your whole life, and now you're a chubby fuck because you've been eating Taco Bell. And all you have to do when you're a type L, all you have to do to lose weight, you only do one thing. It's very simple. You have to make the decision to do it, which most type Ls don't. Most type Ls, once they get fat in the Western world, stay fat the rest of their lives because they don't want to go on a diet. Who cares? Right? Once a type L makes the hardcore decision, holy fucking shit, I need to lose weight, they're 6 months and they lose all the weight and they look great. If you're a type L, you are 6 months or less, sometimes 3 or 4 months away from looking fantastic. And it's going to be relatively easy. Is it easy? No, but it's a lot easier than if you're a type S. So you have to identify, am I a type L or type S? Have I been struggling with this my entire life because of the way I am, in quotes? That's a type S. Or was I perfectly fine for most of my 20s, 30s, 40s, or whatever, and then last few years I became a fat fuck? Then you're a type L. If you're a type S, oh, by the way, if you're a type L, then you can listen to tactical advice. When you say on the internet, I need to lose 42 pounds, and you're a type L, and someone says, do carnivore. Great, that'll work for you. Do carnivore, it'll work. Do carnivore. Jordan Peterson famously went on carnivore, lost those weight. He's a type L. Jordan Peterson wasn't fat. He eventually gained weight over time because he got lazy or busy with work or whatever. And then he went on carnivore and it just worked magic for him, didn't it? Because he's a type L. He's not a fucked up psychological. We could talk about psychological stuff with Jordan Peterson, but he doesn't have a psychological problem with eating food. He doesn't. He's normal in that respect. So you can just paleo, any fucking diet will work. Cardio, tracking calories, paleo, carnivore. If you're type L, just about anything will work. Unless you have something very weird going on in your body, which is unusual. Okay. If you determine you're a type S, you have to ignore all the advice everyone on the internet and your personal life gives you, because they're all going to give you tactical advice. They're all going to say, oh, I went on this diet. It was great. I went on the da-da-da-da diet. I lost 47 pounds. It was great. Or my sister, blah, 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 blah. You say, great, that's a great idea. I'll look into that. And then ignore it and move on. You have to focus on psychology. That's all you need to focus on, because your problem is not tactics. Your problem is your fucked up brain. Your brain is fucked up, and it's probably your fault. It could be your upbringing. There could be a factor, right? But what I've talked about, once you're 18, everything in your life is your fault. This is all your fault. So you need to sit down and dig into your brain. I'm telling you now, I've been through this. It's hard. It's going to take a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of energy. You're not going to do it. You're going to have to listen to a lot of, read a lot of books, audiobooks, do a lot of writing, digging into your brain, digging into your psychology, practicing shit you're not going to practice, like mindful eating. Holy shit. Let's talk about that really quick. Mindful eating. If you're a type S, you don't know how to eat. So you have to learn something called mindful eating, and you're going to fucking hate it. Mindful eating is how type L and skinny people eat. It's how normal people eat. You're a type S. You eat abnormally. So when you do mindful eating, I'll give you the process really quick. I'll just summarize it. I had to do this, and I hate it. Still hate it. When the plate of food gets in front of you, you don't just start eating because you're excited to eat, right? You can't do that. You got to stop and take a breath and take a beat and center yourself and look at the food and look at it. You go, that looks good. And then smell it. It smells good. Okay. Then you pick up your fork or your spoon and you take one bite, not a mound of shit, one bite. You put it in your mouth. And then you're not going to do this. You have to put the fork down and let it go. Ooh. See, when I eat historically, anyone who knows me knows this. My fork is in my hand the entire time. That's me eating, okay? You got to put the fork down, put your hands in your lap, and then chew the food and taste it. Now, that's how normal people eat. And again, if you're a type L or a skinny person, like, well, duh, of course that's what you do. What the fuck, bro? Yeah, you don't have a psychological problem with food. You don't understand. But if you're a type S person, you won't want to when I first started doing this, I didn't want to let the fork go. I'm hungry. Put the fucking fork down, chew. Then you can't touch the fork again until you've swallowed all your food. Even I say that, my brain goes, I don't like that. Because the way I want to eat is I put food in my mouth, the fork is still in my hand, I'm chewing it, and while it's still in my mouth, I take another bite and put it in my mouth. That's not how you're supposed to eat. You don't eat like that. That's incorrect. That's the way you've been eating your whole life, and it's wrong. So you have to retrain yourself to eat like a normal person, which sucks. Even as I say this, the mindful eating shit, there's a part of my brain, even though I've lost this weight and I've overcome most of this, there's still a part of my brain like, fuck that. Eat whatever the fuck I want. In some cases, it's even worse if you're an alpha male type guy and you're alpha independent, like, fuck you, I can eat what the fuck out, fuck that shit. I'm whatever the fuck I want. Fuck you. Resources. There's an app called Noom, N-O-O-M. I've recommended it before, and it's 100% about psychology. Strongly recommend it. I don't get paid for recommending it. Noom, N-O-O-M. There is a book written by a woman called, I don't remember the name of the book. I'll put it in the description of this video. So it says also if you would prefer to read a book, there's a book where she talks about this and goes into detail about this. But be aware, all the advice you're going to get on the internet are people who are trying to give advice to type L people. They're trying to give you tactics. You have to ignore all that because it won't work. You'll do what they say, you'll lose about 12 pounds, and then you'll go to Taco Bell, or you'll go to Cheesecake Factory, or you'll go get some pizza. Or you'll be at the store like I used to, grocery store, right? You're at the deli section, grocery store, where they have little pieces of cake. And you'll see that piece of, my thing was like carrot cake, big, thick piece of carrot cake with like extra frosting. You're like, I've been good this week. I've been pretty good. I haven't binged in 3 days. I deserve a piece of cake. And I buy the cake and I go out to my car. I used to do this, okay? I would get the piece of cake. I would try to find a plastic spoon somewhere in the grocery store. Usually they have them. Sometimes they have like a little Starbucks. And I'd run out to my car, buy my food, I was there to get groceries, not to buy cake. Run out to my car, sit in my car and eat it in the parking lot. And it'd be gone in 3 seconds. I'd be like, oh, that's so good. I want more. All wrong. You can't eat like that. If you eat like that, you're going to get fat. Once you overcome the psychological aspect, which might take you, in my case, it took, how long did it take me? 2 or 3 years? And it was in stages for me. 2 years ago, I stopped eating sugar. It was very difficult for me, but I pulled it off. Made a bunch of it, started lifting weights and doing a lot more stuff physically a few years ago. And so it's been a process. It took me maybe 3 years to really nail this. And I will never get it. Here's the last thing I'll give you about this. You'll never get it 100% nailed. If you're type S and you've been a type S for decades, you will always be a type S the rest of your life. It's like being a recovering alcoholic. So people who haven't had a drink in 25 years, they still call themselves recovering alcoholics. Because if they take one drink, they could go right back and they know it, right? So you're a type S. I'm probably going to be a type S the rest of my life. Sucks. Way it goes. So I got to watch this the rest of my life. That's just one of the few disadvantages of being Caleb. There's a lot of advantages to being me, but there's a few disadvantages. And just like you, there's advantages to being you, and there's some disadvantages. One of my disadvantages, probably my biggest one, is type S fat motherfucker likes to eat food. So you'll never 100% overcome it, but once you get 80% of it nailed, then and only then can you start listening to people saying, just do carnivore, man. Then you can start listening to tactics. And my thing was fasting. That's what worked for me. But I tried fasting 4 years ago. It didn't work because I was still fucked up psychologically. So the tactics don't work if you're a type S until you nail the psychology, which may take you some time. And I'll tell you, the older you are, the harder it is because you've been a type S longer. If you suffered trauma because of this when you're a child, okay, that might take you longer. You might have to go to therapy. I didn't have to go through that, thank God. But I do know people. I personally know people who are overweight, type S's, because of fucked up shit that happened when they were kids or teenagers. And they've had to, go to therapy. You got to deal with that shit first. Once you deal with that shit first, at least 80%, not 100%, then you do tactics. But until then, you've got to ignore everybody who gives you any advice. Because as soon as you go on the internet and say, I need to lose blank pounds, you're going to have 47 people, all very well meaning, all suggesting different types of diets and exercise things, and none of them are going to work. That's not your fucking problem. Your problem isn't here. It's in your fucking head. It's not going to the gym. It's not carnivore. It's none of this shit. That's for the type L people. The type L people who made a decision, which most don't. Make sense? In a future video, I will go into detail about the tactics that I used. But the reason I cover this first is because if you're a type S, the tactics aren't going to help you at all. I'm going to give you, not in this video, in a future video, the exact tactics I used to lose 45 pounds. I'm going to be at my high school weight so shortly. I'm going to be under my high school weight in a few weeks because this shit works. But the tactics won't work if you're a type S and you haven't dealt with your psychology yet. Cool? Cool. New video. Then I'll get to your questions. Let's see. New video. One of the best ways to improve your daily focus and your daily productivity and your daily results is to meditate. And there's a lot of confusions about how to meditate and how much meditation you need. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what I do, and it's made a big difference in my life in terms of meditating and in terms of using meditation as a mechanism to increase your income and be a happier person. If you don't know who I am, I'm Caleb Jones. I help men just like you to date multiple attractive women long-term with no lying, cheating, or drama. And meditation is a core part of emotional control, which will help in your woman life and it'll help you in your income. So, meditation. I used to think meditation was bullshit. I said, this is a bunch of woo-woo shit. Oh, bullshit. And little did I know, the amount of scientifically proven peer-reviewed data of how much meditation helps you is Mount Everest sized. But here's what made me really wake up about this. Years ago, I was in Hong Kong, one of my favorite cities. I went to a class on mindfulness. I was curious about the concept. So I went to this class, and when the exercise of the day, I was literally in a class with adults, okay? And the teacher was in the front, and the guy said, all right, I'm going to try this experiment. I'm going to flash on the screen a series of about 13 numbers and letters, all in one thing, A, B, C, D, E, L, 1, 2, 3, all in the same. So you only see one character at a time. We're going to flash them really quick. So what you do is get out a piece of paper, get your pen ready. I'm going to press the button, say go. I'm going to flash them really quick. And you need to write down every number / letter in order. And we'll see how close you guys get. I'm like, oh, I'll fucking nail this. I'm a badass. So I get ready. I'll watch. He's like, 1, 2, 3, go. I said, okay. JL914J1, blah, blah. Okay, I write this long string. Okay. And he goes, everyone done? What's that? So then he brings up the actual string of characters. And I was about 40% off. I got about 60% right, 40% wrong. And everyone's like, ah, shit. We all got them wrong. He goes, did anyone in the class get this 100% correct? And there were 2 people who raised their hands. And he's like, hold up their paper so we can prove it. So shut up like this. Okay. And these 2 women. And he goes, that's very interesting. He asked a question. He goes, okay, put your hands down. Who here in this classroom meditates on a regular basis? Not every once in a while, regular basis, several times a week at least, you meditate. And 2 people raised their hands. It was the same 2 women. One woman was like this hippie chick. Hey man, one of those, so she meditated. The other woman, he asked her, he's like, tell me about your experience meditating. The other one was a Buddhist. She goes, I'm a Buddhist. It's just meditation is part of what I do. I said, okay, I'm sold. I'm meditating. That's it. I mean, that was all the proof I needed. There is scientific data that shows that you can meditate just for 2 minutes and you'll get benefits. People think you have to meditate for 20 minutes or a half an hour or something like that. No, hang on a second. There's scientific data that shows you can meditate for 2 or 3 minutes and get results. If you go for 10 minutes, is that better? Sure, but you don't have to. Most people can't meditate for longer than a few minutes. So don't worry about how long you meditate. Instead, focus on making it a habit. One of the 3x5 card items I put when I make promises to myself, I talked about in a prior video, is that I meditate. Because meditating it's a habit I have, but if I'm busy, I will not do it. I'm too busy. So I have to make sure I do it. I have to promise myself I'll do it. Easiest way to meditate. Don't make this complicated. If you're new, there's an easy way and there's a hard way. Hard way you can work up to. Easy way is you sit down or you lay down if you want. I lay down when I meditate. Some people prefer to sit. Doesn't matter. People say, well, your spine needs to be straight. Why? What's the scientific data behind that? There isn't. So just get comfortable, close your eyes, and count. 1, and you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. 1, breathe in. And you visualize the number 1 in your brain. Big, make a big giant number 1. You try to focus on the 1, and then exhale through your mouth. 2, Then inhale, 3. And as you see 2, 3, you visualize the numbers big in your mind because you want to focus. Now, if you think about other things, because you'll think about your 6th grade your high school teacher, and then you'll think about the argument you had last week, and then you'll think about the work ethic. When you have other thoughts, you say, thank you, no, and you push them aside, and you go back to the number. And you count to 10, go back to 1. And you do that for as long as you can. Set a timer for 3 minutes. You will be able to focus more. You will be less stressed. So if you have stress and anxiety and depression, fucking meditate. Now, what I do is I do the hardest meditation, which is transcendental meditation, where you have a mantra like Om. That's not my mantra, but you can pick it like Om. And it's a word that has to have no meaning to you, like Om or Buh, whatever. You say Om, 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 Om. And you just think about Om for 20 minutes. Most people can't do that. You probably have to work up to that. I had to work up to that. So now I have a mantra and I go 20 minutes. Sometimes if I have a really busy day, I'll do 10 minutes. I prefer to do 20. As of now, this week, I'm experimenting with meditating twice a day, which is ideal. I'm very busy. I didn't want to do that, but there's so much going on in my life. There's an old saying about meditation. Meditation is if you're really busy, you should meditate once a day unless you're really busy, in which case you should meditate twice a day, which is kind of true. So I'm experimenting with that this week. Meditating is first thing in the morning and then meditating about an hour before I go to bed, which scientifically are the best times to do it if you want. But again, if you're just getting started, pick some time of the day. It doesn't matter when. Don't overthink it. Sit on your couch or lay in your bed, close your eyes, and just think it through. Now, if you have more money to spend, this is about $400. Do not do this if you're low income. But if you have money to spend, you can buy a Muse, M-U-S-E headband. That's what I've got. And it's a brainwave monitor. You put it on your head, and there's an app, and it monitors your brainwaves, and you put in headphones or earbuds, and the more calm you're in how do I explain it? You hear a environmental environment like rain or wind or trees or mountains, you pick a lot of them. And what you hear is a result of your brainwaves. So if you're stressed out, you think about all kinds of things and it's raining, you'll hear pouring down rain. If you're calm and relaxed, you barely hear it. And when you're really calm, you hear birds. Chirp, 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 chirp. And the goal is to hear birds. So the goal is to figure out what calms you down as you think. And you can hear immediately in real time what calms you down. Then you get a score of how calm you were. Awesome. Do that if you can afford it. If you can't, you don't need it. And that's just for you guys who have money. Cool? Cool. Meditating 5-6 days a week, once a day at a minimum, even if it's a few minutes a day, will make you more productive, will help you focus, will give you less stress, less anxiety, which means you'll be happier, which is what I teach here at Alpha Male 2.0. Long-term, consistent happiness. Try it out. I think you'll like it. New video. How are we doing on time? Let me get my glasses here. Yeah, I'm not going to do the third topic today. Third topic was about Latin American women. Let's see. Yeah, I'll do that next time. Let's answer questions. Let's see. Let me zoom up. Oh my God, look at all the questions. You guys like to talk about weight loss. Holy shit. How many days in advance would you start an online dating blitz when moving to a new city? 1 week. I heard a high dose of vitamin D is very important. What's your daily dose? I have been taking 10,000 IU of vitamin D for 15 years because I was vitamin D deficient 15 years ago and I didn't know it, and it made a great difference. I'm a 10,000 IU day guy, period. Great work, Caleb. You're right. I think. What's my vitamin D level right now? It's in the 50s. Last time I had it tested, it was about 52. You want it over 40. That's the number you want. More than 40. 52, 55, somewhere in there. Which is about right. About what you want. Do you think the third and second world countries are tired of getting screwed and are starting to rebel against first world countries? I don't think that. That's exactly what's happening. Yes. First, is it okay to start, OLTR question. Is it okay to start soft nexting if I haven't been soft nexting when drama was happening before? Well, then it's more dangerous. You fucked that up. So yes, you can still do it, but it's going to be less effective because she's going to say, what the hell is he doing? You fucked that up. You don't stop soft nexting just because a woman becomes your OLTR. No. You soft next forever. So yeah. And if she kicks me out house, can I still treat it as a soft next? Yeah, of course. What's the difference between your Alpha 2.0 business course and the Rapid 90 business? I've answered that question. If you go to you can't get Rapid anymore. So it's kind of moot point. You can't get the course anymore. Go to the Rapid webpage. It's in the Q&A. Any update on your Dubai PDM? No update. I do not have a Dubai PDM as of this moment. I do not have it. Will PF be considered as your Dubai PDM? Well, I can have 2 Dubai PDMs if I want. Well, Pink Firefly, the plan is she's coming back. The plan is, I don't know if this is going to happen. The general plan is Pink Firefly comes back to Dubai. See, now my feet are starting to hurt a little bit. So it's been 54 minutes. It's not bad. It used to be like 20 minutes. So they're not hurting. And I can feel the pressure. Pink Firefly may come back to Dubai in November. And so she will be my Dubai wife. That's a very big topic, and I'm shifting things around. I'll discuss that in a future live stream. But there's no change in terms of my Dubai PDM. Have you ever had a hater and years later they buy your program? Many, many, many times. Often haters are just confused fans. I recall coming into conflict between bulking and discovering eating less prolongs life. That's right. I'll talk about this when I talk about fasting. The only 100% scientifically proven guaranteed way to rewind your age other than taking pills and shit just through lifestyle is eat less calories, eat less often. Be hungry. Proven. And all the anti-aging guys, this is what they eat once a day. I'm eating once every other day, but yeah. After listening to you fast every other day, I remembered as long as weekly macros are hit, it's okay. I don't even worry about macros. Well, I'll talk about that next time I talk about my process. I don't give a fuck about macros. I'm not trying to get ripped. I'm not trying to get big muscles right now. I'm trying to lose body fat, and that's all I'm focused on. Again, type S. I don't want to be, I got to lose body fat, but I got to gain muscle too. But I don't want to lose muscle. Oh, no. My brain will just shut down if I get focused on losing body fat. Worry about muscle later, Caleb. I'm endomorphic and high testosterone. I have no problem gaining muscle. I'll do that later. And I'm in my 50s. I don't give a fuck. If I was 27, I'd be more concerned about this. I mean, I'm 53. I don't care. I had no idea figure out my vision would be the hardest part of the process, the unchained man. That's unusual. I spent weeks staring at an empty document trying to come up with what I want. I'm still stuck. For your vision or your mission? You don't know what you want? What kind of house do you want? I don't know. Really? Yeah, you do. I think you're being lazy. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. Since you travel a lot, do you lift weights in the gym regularly nowadays? Yes. I only lift. I will talk about this more on my next live stream. I only go into the gym twice a week. I do a full body bare minimum just to not lose too much muscle while I'm fasting. That's the only reason I go. When I'm completely done using body fat, 6, 7, 8 more weeks, then I will flip and I will start going back to them 4 times a week hardcore, but not now. Can you share what exercises? I will discuss that in the next live stream. I only do well with American white women. I don't know why. As a Latino man, I struggle with Latina, Asian, and Middle Eastern time. Have you ever had this type of experience? Yes. Black women don't like me. I'm too white. Asian women love me. Black women like, you white boy motherfucker. So no. Yes. It's called your target market. So go to the Alpha Male 2.0 blog, alphamale20.com/blog. Go to the archive, look up target market, and that explains it. What's your testosterone level nowadays? It's always around low 1100s, always. Is it still high as 10 years ago when you first started TRT? Well, when I first started, I don't remember what I got. I don't remember. I think so, yeah. I think it was 1100. Maybe it was 900 back then. Yeah. NGDL, PGNL. Wait, fuck. It's not NGDL, no. It's the other one. Nanograms per deciliter. Oh, that's right. NGDL. You're just saying it differently. Yeah. I had the type S problem you described, but with sex, not food. That's a problem. That could be a mild form of sex addiction. And you need to handle that. Sex addiction is not as common as people think. People think any man who fucks lots of girls has sex addiction. No. Sex addiction is you can't stand it. You're at work and you can't stand it. You got to go fuck a girl, even if she's 400 pounds, even if she's a crack whore missing teeth, you don't care. You got to fuck. That's sex addiction. Thank God I don't have that. But I've known some guys. Why did you choose TRT injection instead of the cream one? Is it better, more effective? Because my TRT was around 500-ish, and I want to get to 1100. You're not going to go from 500 to 1100 in most cases, unless you have unusual genetics, just using the cream. Now, if you're at 700 and want to get to 900, cream's great. Depends on how the disparity of where you want to get. And your genetics. How often you cardio? I'll talk about that next time. I see 3 FBs regularly, but sometimes spending time with them regularly affects my sleep and next day focus. That's all within your control, bro. You got to kick your FBs out. I had to go through this phase a few years ago. Look, you got to go home. I got to go to bed. You got to go home. I got to work. You're letting yourself go in the way evening hours with your hot girls because you're excited. You can't do that. How do you structure evenings your FBs? That's what I just said. What you can tell them is you establish when they have to go home when they're on the way over. Hey, just so you know, I got to go to bed tonight because I need to wrap this up by 9:30. Is that okay? Oh, sure, that's okay. So they know. That's how you do it. Your son is black. Did he attend Black Matter protests in 2020? No, he had left the United States by then because he's smart. Are your kids Democrats? My son is not. My daughter is. You said your family are Democrat. Yes, my entire family. I'm from Portland, Oregon. They're all left-winger. I have a family I'm from a family of 7. Then they have wives and children and stuff. Actually 8 because my brother. I have one Trump supporter, alpha male 1.0 brother, who's insane because he's a Trump supporter. And then all the rest are completely insane left-wingers who worship Obama. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's a cool documentary on YouTube about a personal trainer who purposely gained and lost 50 pounds to understand his clients addicted to food. See, and that's stupid. He's not going to, if he was a type L, so he wasted his fucking time. I'm sure he got a lot of clicks. If a skinny person decides to gain 50 pounds and lose it, that's not a type S. That's why he was able to lose it. I bet he lost it within 3 months, right? So that was dumb. Superb analysis, Caleb. Thank you for this video. You're very welcome. Is the essence of having a mission to have a purpose greater than oneself, someone or something other than you to serve? Not necessarily, no. With some men, yes. Other men, no. Missions can be completely selfish, as I've said many times. So the answer is no. But some men want to serve. What do you want? The question is what you want. Every man's different. We tend to find meaning and work harder and more ceaselessly in the service of others or something greater than us rather than working really for ourselves. I believe that is true in general, but that's not true of everybody. So it depends on you. My big financial motivations today as a man in his 50s is very paternal. I want to take care of my women. I want to take care of Pink Firefly, and I want to. It's a big motivation. Now, 20 years ago, right after my divorce, like I was Mr. Red Pill. Fuck women, they're all cunts, and I'm not going to be a blue pill. Fuck that. Now that I'm more balanced, I'm non-monogamous. I have sex when I want, but I love my wife. I want to take care of her. I don't want her to worry. I want to be. There's a core part of being a man as being a provider. The problem is when you go blue pill and beta male and pussy, and you go too far with that, and you become a little pussy and get one-itis. So if you stay alpha male 2.0, I've written entire articles about the alpha male provider. That's okay, as long as you're not a pussy. Does having a vision board help with goals and also how to remove negative thoughts? Yes, it can. You said we have to exercise hard at least 4 days a week, every other day. Correct. Can you explain what you mean by exercising hard? Like how intense should it be? Is there any KPI? Like how heavy should you breathe out? You should be breathing heavily and sweating. That's it. I've said that. Breathing heavily and sweating. If you're like these girls who go on the treadmill and they're reading a book and they're talking to their friend, oh yeah, and then last week, okay, that's not exercising hard. Don't take advice from me about fitness. I don't know what I'm talking about. That's my opinion. On-the-go food, eating and consuming food while moving, and the advent of TV dinner started this problem, in my opinion. Yeah, possibly. And they made this processed food too addictive. That's an entirely separate topic, but that is true. There were not gigantic fat people like we have today in the 80s, because I came out of the 80s. In the 80s, I was thinking about this a few weeks ago. In the 80s, when you were in class with a bunch of kids, you'd have a class of like 30 kids or a group of 30 people, and there'd be one fat kid or one fat guy in a group of 30 people, one. And he would really stick out because fat people were not normal back then. And then, thank God, it wasn't me. There were several chubby kids, but one fat kid. Thank God I was never the fat kid in my class, because people make fun of the fat kid back in the 80s. This is before anti-bullying and shit like that. So thank God that wasn't me. But today, it's like half the group. You have a group of 30 people, half of them are fat. They're all fat. By the way, that's how China is now. Hong Kong or China, everybody's skinny. And every once in a while you see a fat person like, oh, that's weird. A fat Chinese person. That's so weird. Did I break up? Am I back? That's how the 80s used to be, like China. Fat people were around, but they were unusual. Here in Paraguay, there's some overweight people here. You don't really see fat people here. Dubai, certainly there's no fat people. That's very rare. Paraguay, there's a few, and you see when you go, oh, a fat person. Oh, because it's unusual. Whereas in America, it's everywhere you see. It's, fat people all over the place. The clip you played reminds me of the stream you made or explaining there's a turd gremlin in your future killing yourself. Yes, the reminders that we can do anything, including be an entrepreneur, so appreciate it. Good. What do you think of the confirmed lifelong divorce rate of virtually zero among the Amish? Seems like monogamy is working for them. Marriage is working for them. You don't know if monogamy is working because they probably cheat. They're men. Men are men. And those are very patriarchal men. Those are the ones who cheat the most. Strong, traditional Andrew Tate, you're my wife, you're going to do what you're told because I'm the man, you're the woman. Those are the guys who cheat like dogs. Monogamy probably isn't working. I don't have the statistics. I don't think you do either. Marriage can work and monogamy can still fail. That was the 1950s. The divorce rate in the 1950s was only 7%. But those guys cheated like dogs. Holy shit. And a lot of the women cheated too. God damn. So monogamy didn't work, but marriage did. What's your blood pressure nowadays? I have it on a spreadsheet. I don't remember. It's slightly high. It's not optimal, but it's not high. It's slightly high. I don't remember what it is. Cholesterol, I don't even pay attention. I have it, but I don't care about cholesterol because I only eat 100% one ingredient foods. So I don't care what my cholesterol is. Cholesterol only matters if you're eating shitty carbs, bread and pasta. Now your cholesterol matters. If you're 100% keto, your cholesterol can be 1 billion. It doesn't matter because it'll just, your cholesterol, there's a lot of cholesterol in your blood, but it doesn't clot because you're not eating any carbs or sugar. I don't eat sugar. I don't eat carbs with rare exception. Thoughts on Ozempic and similar GLP-1 agonists? Is that the name of it? I looked into it last year. I was tempted to do it. I live in Dubai. Every fucking girl, I don't know about now, but last year, every girl in Dubai was on Ozempic, or the other one starts with M. There's another one, another big one. They're all on it. Every girl in Dubai is on Ozempic. So I know a lot of girls in Dubai. Mm-hmm. And so I asked them about their side effects. 100% of them all reported, oh yeah, I'm tired all the time. I'm sleepy all the time. I don't eat very much. I'm not hungry. I'm losing lots of weight. It's working. But oh my God, some of them get headaches. Some of them throw up. But the number one across the board, 100% of them said, I'm tired. I'm sleepy. I went, well, I can't be sleepy. Fuck that. So I couldn't do Ozempic. But I was tempted. I looked into it. If there had been no side effects, I would have tried it. Yeah, but energy, that's my thing. I can't be sleepy. What time do you sleep at night? In Paraguay, 10:30 p.m. In Dubai, 1:30 a.m. I heard we have to sleep before 11 p.m. so that our organs can rejuvenate ourselves. Do you think that's true? That is incorrect. That's it. You need to sleep before 3 a.m. is the number. That's the danger zone. You don't want to stay up past 3 a.m. That's a circadian rhythm thing. It's not 11. It's 3 a.m. I go to bed at 1:30 a.m. and I'm perfectly healthy. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night because of this fasting I'm doing. Can you see the dark under my eyes in this video? I don't know. Can you tell? Anyway, so am I out of Zoom on this video? Did I fuck up my Zoom? Hang on a sec. I think I gotta change a setting. Hang on. Oh, I was. Shit. Okay. Here we go. How did your cholesterol level change as you were doing this new weight loss regime? I don't pay attention to what I said. What do you think of carnivore? Ever tried it? Yes. It seems like a decent elimination diet, but it tends to mess up your hormones after a while. I said this 4 or 5 years ago when all the carnivore idiots were screaming at me saying, you don't know anything. Carnivore diet became a cult. People have kind of calmed down about it. Carnivore, just like being a vegan, is a great thing to do for a few months as a cleanse to reset your body. It's a great idea. You don't eat carnivore for the rest of your, this is what I said 4 or 5 years ago. People said I was stupid. You don't eat carnivore for the rest of your life. That's insane. You're going to fuck your gut biome. You are going to ruin your stomach. You're going to only eat meat for the rest of your life. You're insane. And what has happened in the last 12 months? All these big carnivore gurus on LinkedIn, I pay attention to this stuff. They start eating, fruit and a little bit of bread, a little bit of rice, and they have to come out and, well, I'm sorry, I was having all these hormone problems. So my doctor said yeah, dumb fuck. You don't eat carnivore the rest of your life. You eat carnivore for a few months to reset, to cleanse, and then you get back to a correct diet. That's why my diet is keto plus fruit. That's my diet. Chicken, vegetables, fruit. That's what I eat. Now I've covered everything. And a little olive oil for fat. And if I want some nuts, I eat some nuts for fat. That's it. Way better than fucking carnivore long term. Short term, I think carnivore is great. What's your favorite high protein meal in the day of week you look forward to? I eat the same thing every day. Chicken. My fruit bars, which are 4 ingredient fruit bars, all natural, and lots of like onions and peppers. I'll talk about it next time. I recognize this big time. Did keto carnivore lose and gain back again? Still struggling massively. Yep, type S. These psychological issues related to food seem to be specifically American. No, not anymore. These places are almost heard of in places like France, India, or Russia. France, no. France is getting worse. India, Russia, correct. India, Russia, okay. That's what I said. It's not American, it's Western. Go to the UK. Go to Canada. Come here to South America. A lot of fat fuckers. So this isn't just America. But I said, doesn't happen in China. I said Western world. So India is not Western. Russian is not Western. France, maybe. I heard once you're on TRT, you have to check your testicular cancer regularly. False. You got to check for PSA. You got to check for prostate cancer regularly, which you should be doing anyway if you're over age 40. So you're slightly off. What's your usual method for testicular cancer? You don't need that. No, you're wrong. Whatever you heard was wrong. I don't know where you heard that. Is there a place for artists, creatives, and idealists in the Alpha 2.0 model, especially in light of the coming changes of Western collapse to AI displacement? As hobbies, yes. As income, no. Although I am going to hire one of you guys probably as an AI artist for my comic book. I'll do a video about that later. Now and after AI, making money purely through art is very difficult. It's almost impossible. I'm sorry. Just the way it goes. So do your art as your second side fun business, and your primary business earns your money and sets you free. Do you think eating vegetables is really important? No, but I think it's a good thing to do. Is it overrated? I think it's overrated. Do you agree that none of your models would work if everyone applied them in their lives? Go to my blog, alphamale20.com/blog, go to the archives and look up the article saying, what if everyone did this? And read that article. What do you advise guys who tell girls they love them on the third date? This is quite common. Those guys are usually so beta and so far gone, I can't help them. If you're telling a woman you love her on the third date, and I start giving you my techniques, they're going to go in one ear and out the other. You're just a beta. Too late. This headband you describe as a biofeedback machine, right? Right. As far as I know, you've already been successful long before you started meditating. Correct. I was successful in the 90s. Are you sure it's helped you achieve more success in your life? Yes, I am sure. I don't make in the 90s what I make today. You know what I make today? Can't tell you what I make. It's a lot more than I was making 10 years ago, a lot more than I was making 20 years ago. Now, 20 years ago, I was making a lot of money. I make a lot more. And I'm happier. And I'm more focused. And I'm healthier. Did you track your life achievement after you began meditating? Yes, I track everything in my life in detail. How do I know if I'm an introvert or extrovert? You're mostly one or the other. It's a big debate. I think I'm both. Everyone likes to say, I think I'm both. You could be a less extreme. You could be a outgoing. This is me. I'm an outgoing introvert. So do I act like an introvert right now? No, but I am. So am I extreme introvert? No, it's a scale. My wife, Pink Firefly, is a shy extrovert. So she's an extrovert. When she talks to people, she loves it, and she can talk for the next 6 hours, and she's great. And she feels wonderful afterwards. She feels excited. But if she's in a room full of people, she'll sit on a couch and put her hands in her lap and just look scared. right? And now if someone sits down next to her and starts talking, she'll talk her fucking ear off or his fucking ear off for 6 hours and she'll love it, right? The opposite, I'm an outgoing introvert. So in a group of people, I'm talking and joking and fun around. In 20 minutes, I want to go home and be by myself because I'm getting tired. So you're probably outgoing introvert or a shy extrovert, but you're still one or the other. I've hit a rut lately from first dates. How should I not let me impact my confidence? It's a numbers game. You got to repeat yourself. This is a numbers game. And the past does not equal the future. This is a numbers game. I got to keep putting in the numbers. This will get better. Also, do not go on first dates with women you don't find attractive. I don't know why you idiots do this. I have a feeling you might be doing this. How often you check for testicular cancer? I don't. It's not a concern for me. Plus, I'm over 50. Odds are nothing for me. Is it a good idea to tell a girl on a date that if you don't have sex by the second date, then you just, no, don't ever state these rules to women you haven't had sex with twice. No, no, no. The first rule of Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club. Keep your goddamn mouth. Now, look, I have a rule. I'm on the second date. No, you dumb fuck. You think it's going to get you laid? You think she's going to go, ooh, good, I'll fuck him now. All right. No, shut up, shut up, shut up. Shut up and let her talk. That's how you get laid. Shut the fuck up and let her talk. What did I say in the last live stream? Some of you are talking too much. Or subcommunicate this. No, you don't subcommunicate a thing. You subcommunicate that you're an alpha 2.0, confident, outcome independent, relaxed guy who doesn't give a fuck. That's you subcommunicate. How would you verbally respond if she says something like, I have a 5-date rule. I like to think things slow. You nod your head, and then ask the next question. A lot of women say that. You know how many women I fucked who said I have a 5-date rule? You know how many women I fucked on the second date who said they have a 5? You have any idea of the number? Ignore what women say in a dating context. Ignore what women say and only pay attention to what they do. Go to my blog. I have an article called Ignore What Women Say and Only Pay Attention to What They Do in a dating context, not in business or family or other areas. That's different. Do you take vitamin K along with vitamin D? I do not, but I probably should, but I don't care at this point. What's your opinion of Dr. Orion Taraban? I've never heard of this person. I've noticed that vegetables are making me bloated. Is that normal? It's certain I think you're asking the wrong guy. It's certain types of vegetables. Try different types. I've written various visions, goals, mission, codes throughout the years, and it's still a bit vague. Then ignore all that. Go back to vision. Get your vision nailed down. What's your opinion on working from paid co-working spaces if you work from a home a lot and get out of your house? Great idea. I've done it. I do that when I travel. Especially with Pink Firefly. I'll find a co-working space and I'll go there for a few hours and work. Yeah, awesome. Have you tried ChatGPT deep research? Dude, I've been doing it for months, every day. Yes. You think I haven't, really, dude? You think I haven't done that yet? AI is a core part of my life. Tate said his T level is above 1,000. Yeah, so is mine. And he said he's not on TRT. So people said he might be lying. Okay, I don't care. Do you think it's possible for a 40-year-old to achieve 1,000 T level without TRT? Possible, yes. There are some men have weird genetics and can maintain super high T levels into their 40s. They are rare, but they do exist because they just have really good genetics for it. So it is possible, yes. It's not typical, but it is possible. I'm noting I'm always chasing new pussy and it's hard for me to focus and get shit done. I just did the live stream last week about chasing pussy and thinking with your dick. Go watch that live stream. I'm going back to New York for a few months to go into monk mode. Is that a bad idea? I don't know what your frequency is. What does chasing new pussy mean? Are you fucking new girls every day, 7 days a week for weeks on end? Then monk mode might make sense. If you're fucking 1 or 2 girls a week, no, you don't do monk mode. Stupid. How do you constantly remind yourself of your code? I don't remind myself of my code. I remind myself of my mission, vision, and goals. My code, it's who I am. I don't need to remind myself. How do you ensure you always adhere to it? Make it short. My code is pretty damn short. You don't want 47 things in your code. I love that you're doing a video about weight while I'm eating chicken drumsticks and fruit. I'm on a keto diet. Well, you shouldn't be eating fruit if you're on keto, but okay. I'm 144 pounds, 5'7", based on a photo. I have like ChatGPT. It said I'm 16% body fat. That's actually what I'm going for. I'm going for 15% body fat. I don't need to be lower than that at my age. I have major psychological problems with food, but I was able to do challenges like 75 hard and stick to my diets for a period of time. Doesn't help if you gain it back. I've lost weight before this, never this much. I've lost weight before this, I can get it all back. So, I'm trying fasting every other day and woke up mid-sleep to binge. You haven't dealt with your psychological problems yet. Let's say I live in a city of 3 million people. We're doing time. 3 million, I got to go in a few minutes. 3 million people. I go to a local coffee shop to work from my laptop. Should I enable VPN for privacy and security? Is this unnecessary? I can't advise you on that. That's up to you. You need to make your own decisions. Are you doing online banking and shit? You doing your investments? Yeah, I usually don't. Sometimes I do. Depends on what I'm working on. You said you want to achieve your financial goals so you can be a better provider for PF. That is not the primary reason. That is a reason. I have 4 reasons. That's one of them. That's reason number 3 out of 4. But I remember reading a blog that says you shouldn't try to be rich in order to attract women. Thoughts? Am I trying to attract Pink Firefly? She's already my wife and already loves me. Am I trying to attract her? No. So I'm not trying to attract new women. She's not new. I don't get what you see in Dubai other than low taxes. That's enough. For me, that's enough. In the modern era where people are paying 50, 60, 70% of their income in tax, low tax is enough. I'll put up a lot of garbage. If you tax me 0, that's enough. It's vapid, shallow, materialistic, and lacks culture. There are aspects of vapid and shallow. I am Malcolm independent. I don't care. Materialistic, I like that. I'm materialistic. Lacks culture, that's false. There's lots of culture in Dubai that is false. Nice place to visit, though. Cool. Why Japanese people are not fat? I don't have answers to the Asian question. People have been asking that for decades. I don't know. Other people can answer you. And I know Asia doesn't have this fat problem the West has. Even though, and I've talked about this, when I go to Hong Kong and there's no one's fat, when I first went to Hong Kong, I'm walking around like, nobody's fat here. This is crazy. They're all skinny. They must be eating really healthy. Then I watched what they eat. They eat garbage. They eat noodles and MSG and crap and fucking dim sum. Dim sum is awesome. They don't eat healthy, but they're not fat. I don't know. Thoughts on John Mayer? I don't think I know who that is. Amazing guitarist, but why do you think he has a hard time finding a woman? He's fucking John Mayer. I have coached with men worth more than $100 million who had trouble getting laid with the women they wanted. And they were normal, good-looking guys. SMV is not the answer. I'm sorry. It helps. It's not the answer. There are men who are super wealthy who can't get laid. Phone is ringing. I got to go soon. I got some technicians coming here to install some equipment here. What about cigars? I notice if I smoke them, I feel wired and way more focused. I never smoked any. Couldn't tell you. What does being over 50 have to do with being testicular cancer free? The older you are, the lower the odds become. Go look up you need to do a lot more research. You're worried about something you shouldn't be worried about. Just want to say thanks for your index card method. Been applying it the last 3 weeks. Life changing, getting better every day. Cool. What's the difference between vision and mission? You don't talk a lot about vision. Correct. Buy my book, The Unchained Man, at alphanlbook.com. Vision is a 1, 2, 3 page document of your entire life if it was perfect in every way in all the aspects. How much money do you make? Where do you live? Your woman life, your family life, how healthy you are, everything. You just write out everything you want. That's your vision. It's real easy. I talk a lot, but still get laid. You could get laid more if you didn't talk a lot. I tell stories about how I played one of my songs for a Bon Jovi. There's a difference between talking and communicating. No. Yes, there's a difference, but you'll still get laid better if you shut your mouth. You will. Try an experiment. Your next 20 dates, do 70% less talking you do now in the next 20 days and look at your results. I think you'll be surprised. All right, 2 more questions. I got to go. Phone's ringing. That's the security downstairs. Can you click this a 90-day business builder? 90-day business builder, the full program and the Alpha 2.0 business course? 90-day business builder is multi-thousands of dollars. We work with you. We have coaches work with you for 4 months. Alpha 2.0 business course is some videos, and that's it. All right, I got to go. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have